Hey guys, happy Scrappy Wednesday. So today I am showing you how I made my sister's baby shower cards. So I actually had a lot of these stickers from I think like 3 or 4 years ago now, and I did a similar card tutorial on the girl version of my cards because my best friend had a baby and hers was 2 girls, and now my sister's having a baby and it's a boy, so I'll be able to use the blue colors, which honestly it's kind of sucks that it's like blue's typically like the boy color because it is my favorite color, so whatever, at least now I get to use these stickers. So yeah, we started with yellow cardstock to bring out Winnie the Pooh's color and used this new paper that I got from my local scrapbook store. It's very thin, it's not super thick like typical scrapbook paper, so it was very easy to tear and whatnot for that little peek of the hole at the bottom there. And I used this lace ribbon to kind of use like a circular background. When I got this idea, I actually saw a card similar to it on Pinterest. However, the one on Pinterest had tulle behind it instead of using this ribbon. Sadly though, I did not have white tulle. I only have black tulle and red tulle, and obviously that's not going to go with this card's aesthetic, so had to make do with what I have. But if you do want to recreate this card and you have scrap white tulle, I very much suggest using that instead. I feel like it's going to look a lot cleaner and a lot nicer than this ribbon that I used. So anyway, we also used some extra scraps from my scrap bin. I found some old bumblebee paper from years ago as well, and it definitely goes the best with the Winnie the Pooh, obviously because he's always wanting his honey and the bees. So theme stays very cohesive there. So just scrapped it up and ripped it up and try to keep it as close to the middle of the ribbon as possible, and just kind of kept going with whatever I thought might look good. I didn't really have a solid plan for this. I did try to use the card that I found from Pinterest as like a guide, but when I show you the 2 pictures right now, you'll see that it's trying to be like that, but it still looks very unique on its own. So that's usually what I suggest doing when you're making cards and you're kind of like in a creative slump. Really use examples online and use that as a general outline and use your own paper and stuff. So this next step, I used lifting tape. You can get this from Michael's, and it really helps when you want to layer more stuff and have a sticker that like this is to put down, because you don't want your sticker kind of lumping with the multiple layers that you already have, so having lifting tape makes it much easier to keep it overall flatter. And I use this little beaded ribbon to act as a border. You could do this just with like the gems, the separate gems that you can buy from Michael's that I have here. However, I had some extra of this. The only problem with it is that sometimes it's a bitch to use the Kaisercraft glue to actually make it stay down, because that stuff, like if you press a little bit too hard, it'll just explode out of the glue gun. So anyway, this next part, I used a scrap piece of ribbon to kind of make a curtain effect. It looked better on the card that I used as like a guide for this, but again, it didn't have that type of ribbon, so you make do with what you have, because our whole point with making these mixed media style cards is to only use scraps that you already own, so that it looks like you spent a lot of money on the card, but in actuality, you probably only spent like maybe $5 to $10 on like just strictly the paper and maybe specific embellishment stickers. So the rest you want to save as much as you can. So for the little curtain, I used some extra ribbon and twine and pulled it apart more to make it look a little bit rougher. Stuck at first I tried sticking this honey pot one, but I thought it would look better next to Winnie the Pooh, so I used this tiny flower as like a little knob thing that you typically would see on curtain ties in real life. So at the top there, I put little rhinestones to act as like the things holding up the curtain. Again, it looks so much better on the example card, so I feel like if I had the correct ribbon, it would probably look a lot better, but again, you make do with what you have. And I've finished this card off with adding a little bit more flowers, and I pulled these flowers out before I even like started making the card, which is why this seems like it's so much faster. Generally, when I make these cards before I start filming, I pull out anything that I typically use, like ribbon, flowers, gems, and paper that go with the color scheme, so it makes it a lot faster to put something together instead of constantly digging through all your stuff while you're trying to figure out what you want to do. And I thought the rip at the bottom looked a little bit too plain, so I used more of the same white ribbon to add underneath of it. And sadly, I didn't really pull the card up high enough to fully see what I was doing, but ta-da, that's what it looked like. So yeah, that's the end of my latest Winnie the Pooh baby card. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed and learned a little something new, and I will see you guys in a week for the July setup. Bye guys.